Welcome to another exciting day here at AMA Junior Camp. It's Friday, July 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'm so excited to welcome you to the last day. Well, I'm not excited, actually. I'm sure Kyle feels the same way. I'm actually really sad that today is the last day of camp because
it's a little bit of both, isn't it? It's kind of like, it's we've had a lot of fun. I think we've, really enjoyed seeing the photos, the videos come through. We're excited to see what happens this time. But yeah, it's a strange feeling. It's
like when you go on vacation and you kind of want to go home, sleep in your own bed, but at the same time, you don't want to leave.
Exactly.
Well, my friends, I'm joined by fellow AMA rocket engineer Kyle Jarris, and we're going to be making something really, really cool today. I just wanted to thank campers Erica and Maverick for sending me really cool footage of their camp projects yesterday. And be sure to keep sending those in, okay? So that's education@modelaircraft.org is where you want to send those videos and photos. I've been sending them to everybody in the office. They've been a huge hit. Everybody here just loves seeing how much fun you guys have had. So I'm really excited about that. Now, Kyle, you did this project with your kids, didn't you?
Yeah, we've done it a couple of times, actually. We did one, I think, last summer for the first time, and they had a good time. And then we tinkered with this one just a few weeks ago as well. So they had fun with it. A lot of fun.
It's been kid tested, kid approved.
Kid approved. And I really hope that we can launch these today too. We've had a little bit of a weather front come through here in Muncie right now. So depending on the weather, we may have to postpone our launch here. However, if that does occur, my guess is that we'll have some really awesome footage from you guys wherever the weather's nice. I do not recommend you try this at home, in the home.
Yeah, don't do this inside. This is an outdoors activity.
Trust us. This will make your parents very upset. So don't do it inside the house.
100% outdoors activity, okay? And this is another one where you're going to want some additional help. So make sure to ask your parents or your siblings to help you out with this project because there's a lot of moving parts.
For sure. There's a lot of steps. And, if you start to fall behind a little bit, that's okay. Remember, you don't have to launch right at the same time that we hopefully can. If you go back, you can actually, even while we're doing the live stream, you can go back and catch up. You can pause it at whatever stage you're at and experience success in that way.
Actually, this project is probably the best one where you should probably watch us build and do the project and then go out and do it yourself later because there is a lot involved. I think that we're going to have to be doing.
I mean, this is the most intricate set of instructions we've had so far with different charts and opportunities for logging your results, doing some really data-focused information on these on your side. But that's kind of what makes it cool, too. So,
yeah, you're going to be doing some real science here, some real engineering. It's pretty exciting, even a little bit of chemistry. So we're excited. There's kind of a reason why we waited until today to do this project. It's because it is, like Kyle said, the most complex one. And so it's a little more advanced than what we've done before so far. So I think you guys are going to like it. So we are going to go ahead and get our pizza box and our project number 5 folder out. There it is right there. I want to tell you guys a little bit about what we're doing today, but I'm going to get our supplies out first. So we're running out of supplies.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, so we're going to need our scissors, our tape, our pencils. Finally, we're actually going to be using these today. This big straw that you usually would drink bubble tea with. The sextant, it's going to become a sextant. This is a protractor. A cork, and you know what? If you don't happen to have any paper towels or paper napkins on hand, use the rest of your Rocket Mouse tissue paper. And if you didn't get a large sheet of Rocket Mouse tissue paper, that's totally fine. Just use a paper towel,
napkin,
or if you happen to have some, this is just gift wrap tissue paper that you get like in a birthday present or something.
The other thing that might actually work too is this red packing material that came with the box. Like if you had to, it would take a while, but that might be safer.
This might be a little thick, but you can try it.
Yeah.
You know,
At the
I
end
don't
of the
want to
day,
leave the glue stick in here because it'll just be lonely. So
bring him out along for the party too. One of the
yeah.
things you didn't find in that box that Claire just pulled out was a piece of string, and it was in the comments as well. I don't have string. What do I do? Well, that's where we, have all that string that came with your kite. So if you want to unravel a little bit of that string, cut out a section. I cut out a couple of feet just to be safe, and then retie your tight kite string. You'll get to practice your knots, and you'll have string for this one. So that's the way to get some string.
Yeah, and it's not going to really make a huge difference to your kite, to flying your kite, if you just cut out a little bit of string. So
you won't notice that 2 feet.
No, you're not. You're not going to notice. It's going to be totally fine. And of course, one of the other things that we need for our project today is a plastic water bottle. So this is just a water bottle that, you get in a pack from Target or whatever. I pulled the label off because it'll just get in the way. It probably will not be.
We don't need to advertise for them.
If anybody out there is from Target, I would love a Target sponsorship, just for the record. So,
Can I jump in real quick? Irna Pastelava, I bet I messed that name up, but she said that her kite failed and she's using the whole string. I'm sorry to hear that. One of the things we noticed in our experiments yesterday was it might help to tie each end of the string individually to the corners of that kite and go from there. It seems to work, at least for us, it worked a little bit better that way. But we'll talk about the kite project and the kite project stuff. But I did want to address that real quick. And somebody's kite flew into the pool and got soaked. Hopefully it can dry out.
Yeah, just lay it out on your deck. It should dry out pretty quickly, hopefully. All right, my friends, we are going to be opening up project number 5, which is, of course, the most fun part of each day, in my opinion. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of space travel while we open everything up. So a lot of people don't know this, but space travel and the idea behind it actually predates human-powered flight. So long before the Wright brothers flew at Kitty Hawk, people were thinking about what it might be like to fly in space. The very first essay documenting space travel or proposing space travel was actually published in 1861. So that's a pretty long time ago. And it was titled A Journey Through Space, and it was written by a Scottish astronomer and mathematician whose name was William Leach. Another essay suggesting the possibility of space travel, the exploration of cosmic space by means of reaction devices. Does that not sound like a fun thing to read, Kyle? I think it sounds awesome. It was published by Russian rocket scientist Konstantin Stolkovsky. Oh my gosh, we're not doing great with names today. His spaceship design actually documented in the book inspired modern spaceship designs. So we can credit Konstantin for that. So thanks, Konstantin. But what's interesting about both of these men, their ideas about space travel were completely theoretical. See, this is a very complex project today. So their ideas and their aspirations for space travel were not based in reality. They were just saying, what if?
Yeah, how cool would that be?
Wouldn't that be neat? Because there wasn't even, like I said, the very first thing that was published about space travel was from 1861. So there wasn't even a concept of manned flight at this point. So they were just like, it would be neat. It'd be pretty dang cool.
Let's hope someday.
Yeah, exactly. And so it actually took until 1919 for American engineer Robert H. Goddard to write A Method of Reaching Extreme Altitudes. Again, super fun things to read. This was the first time that space flight was actually taken seriously. Up until that point, like we were saying, it was just kind of fantastical. It was in the realm of unicorns and elves, which is the place I usually live.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it's a great place to be. Take me back to Rivendell. Thank you. So even though Goddard started to be taken a little bit more seriously, it wasn't until Werner von Braun, who a lot of people have heard of, came up with an actual functional rocket, and that was the V2 rocket that launched in June of 1944, and that basically launched the space race. So that's pretty cool. And so our rocket today is going to be of much more humble beginnings, just a water bottle. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to make things that shouldn't fly.
Exactly. I mean, isn't that that's kind of what we've been doing. We've done paper, a plate, a paper bag, all kinds of, a mouse. All right, my friends, let's see what's in our project number 5 folder. I love these little things. I think they're so great. So let's see what's contained in here.
Yeah, if you got a flight pack, you definitely are seeing the joys of my work right now. I made a few extra of these fins.
Kyle made so many of these. He sent me a picture, a shopping bag full, and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
what happened?"
That many?
Yeah, my math skills weren't on point that day.
Well, we're gonna practice them today, right, Kyle?
Yeah, there we go.
So we've got 3 fins here. They're made out of balsa wood. And so I'm going to go ahead and set those aside for right now. And you can actually, before I set them aside, you can make something like this out of some cardboard, or if you happen to have balsa wood at home. But you know what? Since we're kind of utilizing different pieces of our kit, since it's the last day and everything, my beloved pizza box might need to be sacrifice for the sake of the BSV rocket.
So sad.
I know. Use
the other cardboard box, the big one, or find something else. Come on.
I can't part with it. Yeah. So, but fortunately, I have all of these awesome fins that Kyle made for me, so I'm not going to have to. It's okay, pizza box. It's okay. Oh, and if you got extra fins, that is Kyle doing you a favor because he just wanted to give you as many fins. It's the penny thing all over again. You will get a random amount of fins probably. So I also got this in my envelope, and you should have gotten this as well. This is a washer for various DIY projects around the house, and we're going to set this aside for now. Actually, I think a good idea would be to actually set aside your straw, your protractor, your string, and your washer for now, because this part of the project we might not get to today. This is, like we said, it's very complex. There's a lot of different parts to the project, and this is an additional thing that we want to do, but we might not get there. So I'm going to set aside all that stuff for now. So if you have to make fins, Tracy asked a really good question. What size should the fins be if you have to make them? That's a great question. So our fins, I just set aside my protractor, but I'm going to get it back again. So our fins are...
It's about 5 inches by like 1.5 inches or something. Yep.
They're about 5 inches tall. And yeah, 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches. I don't know who's running comments today for the AMA, but if you could, whoever you are, put that into the comment section for us. That would be amazing, just so everybody can see that and so we can keep going in our project. So 5 inches by 1.5 inches for your fins, and you want to have 3.
The other thing too, I'll mention really quickly, you don't need to spend a lot of time on the fins necessarily. Like, they are cool and they will definitely help it fly straight. But at the same time, in our experiments at the house, we did some with just the bamboo skewers and no fins, and it worked pretty well. So if it's something that's causing an issue, or you're trying to source and falling behind, don't worry about it. It'll work with just either the pencils or some straws on the side of this rocket.
All right, guys, just to remind you, if you do want to do a fin, it'd be great if the AMA would go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section for us. These are 5 inches tall by 1.5 inches wide, and you'll be able to make a beautiful fin just like this. Okay, perfect. So there we go. Perfect. Thank you, whoever is running the model aircraft. YouTube channel. It's not me. Kyle and I are building rockets.
We're playing. We don't have time
Yeah,
for
we're
that.
just having fun.
For those of you that are joining in a little bit behind the times, sorry about that incorrect link earlier. Glad you caught up to us. You can always go back and watch this to catch up to us. You won't quite be live, but it'll still work fine.
Yeah, and honestly, we really have not missed that much, or you have not missed that much. All we've really done so far is unpack everything and laugh about rockets. So,
so we're having a good day so far.
Yeah. So you really haven't missed much. This is the real meat of it. This is the real content that you're all waiting for. So project number 5, the baking soda and vinegar rocket, or as I like to call it, the BSV rocket. So we're going to open this up. This looks so good. Okay. I just enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right, my friends. Yes. I bet you guys can guess who designed this. All right. So we are going to skip the section that says how to build your homemade sextant just for now. And check the time, 11:15. We actually might get around to it. So let's work on our rocket instead. So you can have your paper there. Here is our rocket. So we need to get our pencils. And just so everybody knows, okay, there's actually still water in this. So I'm just going to.
One of the things that I did as Claire's getting ready to do this, like,
all right.
Oh, well, I'll let Claire take over. She's done drinking.
There wasn't very much left. Just, a little parched there. So our rocket, despite the appearance of it actually kind of looking like a traditional rocket as a normal water bottle, we're actually going to flip our water bottle upside down. So the opening is at the bottom of it. And I'm going to set it on its side like this. Just so, oh, there we go. Thank you. I'm going to set it on its side like this so that you guys can see where I'm placing the pencils. And so I don't know about how Kyle prefers to do it. This is one of those things where it's like, which way do you like to put it together? I actually like to put it together with the erasers on the bottom as opposed to the points pointing down.
I agree completely.
Okay, cool. You never know. It's one of those things where it's like, does the toilet paper go flip over or under? I don't know. That's a question for another time.
Yeah. One thing that I did is I attached the fins to the pencil first. And I found that way I avoided having the issue of like trying to work around the fin and getting it taped on later. So you might try it.
Let's see here. Oh, and make sure before you put anything together, there's a lot of instructions here. Make sure that the end of the pencil extends past the mouth of the bottle because it is going to be standing on the pencils as like little props.
And a little bit of that cork sticks out too. So you want it to be at least probably a couple inches up. Would you say a couple inches, Claire? Is that probably about?
Let's see. I'm going to look at this. I think you're going to want it more like this.
Yeah.
That'd probably be a good distance from the bottom of the bottle. Just so that you have plenty of room there. I hope the weather's good while we're outside. I'm very worried, everybody.
Let me look out my window. It actually looks like it's clearing up right now, so we might be go for launch.
All right. I don't want to scrub the launch.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure, my friends, to give your rocket a really cool name. Our rocket is the Water X Salamander. So I have taped my fin onto my pencil. And I'm going to do that. Aw, it looks like a little, like a sail on a boat. Let's have a model boat camp next year. That'll be fun.
Could figure something out, yeah. There's a lot of science principles we can teach through that.
Totally. All right, so I'm going to keep adding these on, and I'm just using 2 pieces of tape. Now, I don't know if we've ever mentioned this during the entire duration of camp, but I can't see what Kyle is doing. So I'm just going to assume that he's doing the same thing as me. And if he's not, do whatever method you want.
It's all about experimentation and having fun. Now, obviously,
that's what the fun part is.
Yeah, watch Claire. I mean, the instructions are there for a reason. They've been tested and tried. But Yeah, it's fun stuff. And we are doing them a little bit differently, but that's fine. That's part of the exploration and the fun.
So I actually have a little bit too much tape here, so I'm just going to snip it off. So while I'm putting this together, Kyle, how much do you know about balsa wood?
Well, I know a bit. Did you know that right now there is a shortage? And do you know why?
Tell me why there's a shortage.
So there's a shortage due to green energy, and there's a reason why. They use balsa wood in the cores of all the very large windmills because it's lightweight and it's strong. It's the same reason that we use them in our model planes. And as such, to fill the core of one of those airfoils that's used to spin around on those big windmills takes a lot of balsa.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of balsa wood.
Yeah, so subsequently, as wind power has grown, which is a great thing, there has been a little bit of a run on balsa.
Well, there you go, kids. Now you learned a little bit about balsa. Balsa wood trees grow in South America, and they grow at a rate of 90 feet every 5 years. So they grow remarkably fast, but not fast enough for those for those wind turbines.
Yeah.
All right, so I ended up putting 3 pieces of tape on my fin just so that it has a little bit more of a sturdy connection to my pencil. See, this is where that colored tape we talked about would have come in handy. I'm just saying. All right, so my beautiful fins are ready to be put on our rocket. So, oh, that's not a good angle. I'll do it like this. Get out of here, you other ones. So, it's interesting doing this on camera, and especially with the drop down camera, because I'm used to doing projects like this in front of a classroom, and so it can be kind of difficult to figure out the way that it'll look the best for our viewers. So bear with me, friends.
I like how yours are set up so it has these like pylons sticking up. That's fun. I did mine kind of the other way, so the fins were at the base. It'll be interesting kind of to see which method functions the best.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So also, as you can see, my fin is not completely on the rocket just yet. This is where having another person to help you might come in handy. And again, I can't really have someone help me out because 6 speed. But
my arms aren't that long.
Yeah. Man, that'd be weird.
Yeah,
all
it would
right.
be strange.
All right, my friends.
There was a question earlier, Claire, and I can't recall who said it. I apologize, but they were asking what kind of vinegar can I use? I have apple cider vinegar. I have red wine vinegar. What can I use?
Well, I have not tested apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar on this project. I've only done this project with white vinegar. So I would recommend that. But if you don't happen to have white vinegar in the house, give the other types of vinegar a try. See if that works for you. I'd be curious because I don't actually know.
I bet it would work. I mean, it has the same chemical properties. It just has additional flavor. So
yeah, it's
since we're not cooking, it'll be fine.
This is not cooking camp, even though that would be really, really fun, and I would love to do that. Okay, so next year we're going to have a model boat camp and a cooking camp. Get ready, kids. So you want your fins to be, oh, it's side heavy. You want them to be pretty good distance apart from each other, so an equal distance apart, and it can be kind of hard to determine that by thirds, especially if you're putting it together by yourself in a studio alone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move this up a bit.
Just do the best you can. As long as they're spaced out enough to stand up, that's really the important part at this point.
There goes my rocket.
And on mine, I ended up being able to just wrap tape around just because the ends were as such. So
you can really do it just about any way that works. Because again, it is about experimenting, and like all of our guest speakers have been saying, you gotta you got to be okay with trying to figure things out and things maybe not working the first time.
That's what makes it fun, being able to problem solve on the fly and think about the issues. And, it'll be interesting too. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those who didn't get the flight pack who are building this in the future. Share how you accomplished these things. How did you get that offset so that the cork could set underneath there? We did at the house try a few where we didn't put anything on there and just had it kind of sitting on that cork. Those didn't fly as well because as the cork was released, it would end up just kind of going one direction or another typically. So I think something needs to exist to hold it off the ground, but it'll be interesting to see what you guys problem solve and figure out.
Yeah, what you come up with. That'll be great. I'm very excited about that. All right. Let's see here. While I'm putting together my rocket, I'm gonna circle back to balsa wood for a minute. Do you want to hear I think it's worth calling it a legend about balsa wood, Kyle?
I'm always up for a good legend.
All right, so this is a legend about balsa wood that was taught to me by someone over at the National Model Aviation Museum, our really cool museum next door. So balsa wood was not the initial material that people used to build model airplanes out of. They basically just built model airplanes out of whatever they could find, whatever they thought would work. But people quickly realized that building model airplanes out of heavier woods like elm or oak or things like that was not very functional because they were very heavy and you want your airplane to be lightweight, right? And so people were looking for different methods of building. And so one day this gentleman from a New York City modelers club was hanging out down at the docks. I don't know why. I don't know what people did in the 1910s. So he was down at the docks. He's watching some people unload a ship from South America. And he noticed that the boxes were packed with this very lightweight packing material that looked kind of like wood. And he was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's balsa wood. And he's like, I don't know what that is, but can I have it? And they're like, yeah, it's garbage, I guess. And he's like, cool, thanks. Thanks for the garbage. And he went home and decided to build a model airplane out of it. And it turned out that it worked really well. And so it turns out that balsa wood, look at that. Balsa wood was kind of one of those accidental inventions with model aviation. But the problem with this story and why I call it a legend is because no one can quite agree who that man was. So a lot of people take credit for it. So like, oh, that was my grandpa. Oh, that was my great uncle. But allegedly that really happened at some point. And so they say how balsa wood came to be a part of model aviation.
Solomon asked a great question. On the chart, you can mark down the altitude. How do you measure this?
Oh, great question, Solomon. So I would love to tell you about that. And let me see. I'm checking the time. I think we have time to make.
I think we have time. Yeah.
I think we have time. So set aside your rocket.
If you're still working on the rocket, that's fine. You can catch up to us later.
Okay. So just going to ignore the water that I got on the table. We're going to get our straw. We're going to get our bubble tea straw back, our protractor, our string, our washer, and we're going to use some tape. This is actually pretty easy to do. You're going to first take your string and you are going to, there is a hole at the 3-inch mark on the protractor. And you're just going to put that through the hole there and tie a knot. Square knot if you like. So I now have that tied on right there. And the other end, you're going to tie your washer on. And this doesn't have to be quite as long as I have it. You could probably make your string about that long. And you're going to tie your washer onto it.
Yeah, you can always cut off the extra string when you're done.
There we go. All right, there we go. Yeah, and you can cut off that extra string. You're not going to need it. So now you have, if your protractor didn't come with, if the protractor you got does not have a hole at that point, you can tape your string on. Mm-hmm. But make sure it's in the middle of your protractor. That is the most important part. Next, we're going to take our straw and we're going to be taping it onto the protractor. So you want a good size piece of tape for this. And you're going to line it up on the top of the protractor and just tape it on to it, just like this. I hear some rustling coming from Kyle's side. So I assume he's putting his protractor together. He's doing his sextant over there.
I am.
Are you concentrating very, very hard?
Of course. Trying to get it all perfect. There we go.
So this is your homemade sextant. And so what you're going to do when we go outside, and this is where the multiple people flying, you need a flight crew for this.
Yeah.
You're going to be measuring, kind of off balance. You're going to be measuring the height or the altitude that your rocket is going to go to. So when we go outside, and I'm not sure if I have a measuring tape, but
I've got one in here. I think you guys could grab.
Okay, we will grab it. So what you're going to do, you will measure a certain distance away from the launch pad where your rocket will be. Write down that measurement. And then you are going to take your homemade sextant and you will be looking through it, actually. You'll be looking through it like this. And your flight pack should have come with a washer. It should be in the little envelope that the fins came in. It might have gotten lost. It might still be in there. We didn't want to have a very, very tiny envelope for the washer, even though that would have been cute.
I'd had enough of the tiny envelopes.
Yeah, Kyle was done. So you want to look through your homemade sextant. And you see how the string, how the washer's on the string. So let's say our rocket, this was the apex of the launch. So I'm holding it up, and then it looks like we're at, let me see here. The angle you want, so it's going to be the outer numbers on the outside, okay? So it looks like I'm at 75. So I'm going to look at my table of tangents. I'm going to go to 75. 75, the number is 3.7321. And I will be multiplying that by the distance away from the rocket launch pad that I am at. So in our instructions, it suggests 20 feet. So I will multiply that number, so 3.7321 times 20, and that will give me the altitude in feet. I know it's very complicated, but that's okay. That's why we included the table of tangents, and that is why we have on the back your flight log. So you will enter the altitude, and that, because there's different columns, it'll help you document how high it went depending on how much of the, I'm going to call it rocket fuel, you used in your project. And so it'll help you determine just how much you need, because there is ultimately a good amount of baking soda to vinegar that you're going to want to use. So that is what the table of tangents is for and how you measure your altitude. So we have our homemade sextant is finished.
Good job, Claire.
Is finished. Thank you. I'm so glad we got to make it.
Yeah.
And then there is one last thing that we're going to want to make before we go outside. And we are going to be making our baking soda packets that go inside of our rocket. So I made a few ahead of time. They kind of look like party favors or homemade caramels. And I'm going to show you guys how I make one of those. So to give you kind of a good idea of how that works. So I have my baking soda, just regular Arm & Hammer baking soda, but any kind of baking soda will work. And then I have a few pieces of tissue paper that I pre-cut. Let's see, I'm going to move our instruction sheet. I'll move the samples over.
Yeah, and as Claire said earlier, any kind of like a paper product will do, whether it be the tissue paper, whether it be a Kleenex or a paper towel, a napkin, even potentially this packing material that's just paper.
Give it a try.
Yeah, give it a try. But I will say, based on experience, that once these components, once this rocket fuel is mixed together, stay away from this rocket. You don't know when it will actually launch. Obviously, if you use a thicker material to house your second part, the baking soda, in this rocket, it will take longer. Be patient. And if it doesn't go off, build another rocket. Just give it some time, because my guess is it'll go off eventually. Just be careful with these. This will be launching. There's a call out in the instructions to wear eye protection. It's in red. You know, it is important, like that you don't approach this once these chemicals are mixed. And this is definitely where you should find the assistance of an older sibling or a parent to really help with this process.
Definitely. And if you happen to have safety goggles or some kind of eye protection, I'm going to just go with my glasses today, but it's enough, I think. But just something to protect your eyes, just in case the launch goes a little haywire. So the amount that we're going to use for launching our rocket today, we decided to do more or less a 1-to-1. So we're going to do a tablespoon of baking soda. And when we get outside, we're going to be doing a cup of vinegar. So you kind of want to get your baking soda spread out on the paper. And if you get it on the table, hopefully your producer won't get mad at you. I mean, your parents. And then just kind of roll it up like a little burrito and twist the ends shut. There we go. Thank you. 1 tablespoon of baking soda and 1 cup of vinegar is what we're going to do today. But feel free to experiment and do whatever amounts you want and see what works best.
Yeah, and Sparrow, try out that red wine vinegar or the apple vinegar. I would probably go with the apple vinegar because it's honestly cheaper usually. But let us know how those results work for you later on.
I feel like apple cider vinegar will work just fine.
Sorry about getting the studio dirty, Dylan.
Sorry, I'm just gonna. I'm sure it'll
disappear. Yeah, it'll disappear. We're fine. Just pour some vinegar on it. It'll disappear.
All right. So I think I have everything I need for the rocket launch. So we are I'm going to wait on the producer and he's going to come get me, and we're going to take all of our baking soda packets, our rocket, and just to make sure I don't lose the cork, I'm just going to put it in there.
Yeah.
And
if you guys want to grab mine, feel free. I might try and catch up to you after you guys are out there. But while Claire and Dylan are getting everything together to make it out there, I just wanted to take a second and thank everyone thank everyone for being present in these live streams. We here at the AMA, especially in the education department, but I'd say even overall, are really having a great time with these. It's a lot of fun for us to explore these opportunities with youth everywhere. And thanks for letting us come into your homes and to share this. And Claire has done an excellent job of presenting these things. And
Thank you.
yeah, you bet. And it's definitely a team environment that has created this content. And we're excited to share. As they continue to walk out and get ready, I'll also say, this wasn't just an internal thing. We had a lot of people come in, offer donations and assistance, both for our regular camp and our virtual camp here. And let me just take this as an opportunity to say, once again, thank you. For instance, Newbie Drone has been a huge help. Beta FPV, the NASA subscale team at the Armstrong Flight Research Center. Awesome guys all around there. We've had a couple of them on the live streams for the comments, so that's been excellent as well. So we've appreciated that. The Drones in School program, you heard from Tad, so that was a big deal. Electric jet aircraft, you'll hear from Pete Bitar this afternoon, I believe, right at 2:00 on Eastern time. And that'll be a lot of fun. This guy makes jet packs on his own, and it'll be fun to see him. Of course, Horizon Hobby has been a help and a supporter of camp for years now. This year was no different. They were offering their assistance throughout, and I'm sure they'll be back next year too. The Hampton Inns and Suites for our actual camp, where we would physically bring kids here for a week and have fun. Thanks to them, they offered to help out as well. All of our community partners. It's really a big deal. I'll also throw out, we had 2 very large donations come in from district vice presidents, Gary Himes in District 6 and Tim Jeske in District 7. So if you are in that district or just want to reach out and say thank you, please do so. Their contact information is online. I'll also say a big thanks to our producers, Dylan Carpenter, Matt Ruddick. Thank you guys very much. As far as our social media, Ashley Rowan has done a great job. Liz Helms, awesome job with our editing. And then, of course, Lynn Balderrama, our design assistant. She's the art director here, did a great job on the logo. All right, guys, it's a few days later. The wind has died down some, and we're going to try this again so we can get some footage of it launching with you guys. Obviously, you want to have your documentation ready, your pencil ready, and write down the amounts of vinegar you put in, as well as the amounts of baking soda so you can get the best launch possible. We're just going to have some fun and see if we get a few launches on camera for you. So, I've already poured the vinegar in. My friend Lynn is going to come over once I mask up, and she'll help me drop the baking soda in. So then we will have our baking soda and vinegar rocket. Let me put my mask on. Here we are. I'm ready, Lynn. Okay. Let me settle down here. Okay, you ready? Good. Good. All right, press it in really tight. All right, there we go. And starting to bubble. Whoa!
Oh, it's fast.
That worked out okay. So yeah, guys, try it out. Let me know how yours do. See y'all later. But we'll be hosting our bonus project at noon. So just in a few minutes, it'll be on both Facebook and YouTube. You should have gotten a link. Hopefully that link works. I think it will. And sorry for that incorrect link earlier. But we're glad you came in. If you missed some of the live stream, feel free to review it. And we couldn't be happier to have you here. We still got 2 more streams coming up. We've got that live stream at noon. And then we've got our conversation with Pete Bitar. And it's going to be a good one. So make sure you tune in. And in the meantime, we'll see you later.